Making your way in the world today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you wanna go watch a movie with PJ. Lord, and he's always glad you came. You wanna be where you could see your troubles are all the same. You wanna go and watch a movie with PJ.
It's the PJ Campbell Network.
No one could hear you.
Oh,
no one could hear you, PJ. Another botched intro. We love to see it.
Thank you, Evan.
You're welcome.
Fantastic. Go ahead and take over then.
No, finish it.
Nope, wait, no, you've started it. Go ahead.
just for context for everyone, I'm okay with this because it's funny, but like PJ was under in pre-production and he was just mouthing words. I'm like, go PJ, go. And obviously you can't hear me.
We do have a private chat for that, by the way.
Yeah, but like it's better this way, I think. It's funnier. Maybe I'm wrong.
And no, here we are. Hi.
How you doing?
Good. Happy Monday. Are you creeped out by Chris Clark as a Satan-eating demon thing at the beginning too?
I'm creeped out by every time I see Pat. Everyone is so joyful in their pictures, and fucking Hogue is like, that's what scares me. It's always fair. Like he's conspiracy or some shit. I don't know. But anyways, how you doing, PJ? How's your day, man?
Happy Monday. It's another joyful watch along here at the PJ Campbell Network. We're going to be watching Lilo and Stitch. I'm very excited about that. I'm sure that none of us are going to cry while we're watching it. Why would that ever happen? Not at all. How are you on this Monday?
I am. I was doing great until then. I panicked and I pressed buttons I should have this time. I think I did the right thing. But stressful times for stressful measures. I'm watching the show called Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist. Shout out to Brandon Hanna for the rec.
I can't handle Lucas. SEN Live has taught me that all the production notes are best given out loud on air.
That is true. Literally every single show. But anyways, I'm doing all right. Life is life. Chris Clark, if you're in charge, things would be a lot worse. But I understand your concern because I'm afraid of myself as well. But with that, we're going to jump into a couple announcements. You know, obviously today we're watching Lilo and Stitch. But tomorrow, in exactly 24 hours, I'm doing an interview with Abby Friel. I'm really excited for that. She's obviously very heavy in the community. So I'm really excited just to interview her, sit down and talk about some shop with her. Next, we also have Suddenly Soundtracks. Wednesday and Thursday. On Wednesday, they're doing the Mary Poppins watch along. Chris and his cast of characters will be watching what I think is the best Disney musical. That take is hot. It's like, oh, that or Moana for me. People are going to kill me for that one. And then also, we're doing the Suddenly Soundtracks as myself and Rachel Silverstream join Chris Clark as we talk about the music on Mary Poppins and what exactly we think about it. It's a really good show. Like, Rachel is so knowledgeable about Mary Poppins. So with that, Friday, Ryan Johnson month starts. We're doing a Brick watch along. First, I haven't seen Brick. I know you have, PJ. Any thoughts, comments, concerns?
Brick is maybe to this day still my favorite Ryan Johnson film. I really, really love this movie, so I'm very excited to watch it. And we are actually going to be watching it with someone in the chat right now who I love very much, and that is Maxwell Haddad. Hi, Max.
Hello, I am Stitch.
Hey, guys.
Oh, that was weird.
Yeah,
that was weird.
It was weird. Oh, won't stop. Won't stop.
That's perfect.
I shouldn't have fed him after midnight.
What is he, a gremlin? And Dipper, stop it. Thank you. We're really happy to have you here, man. We're
happy to be here. Happy to celebrate the life of the beloved feline Stitch.
Yes, thank you, my friend.
Beautiful, beautiful boy.
Very beautiful boy. And I'm excited now that we're going to have such a good time just hanging out and watching this movie together. You know, it's a good movie. It's a great movie. In fact,
great movie.
Walt Disney Animation's 42nd animated film.
Came out the same day as Minority Report.
Yeah, of all things.
They were in a tight box office battle for number one.
Yeah.
Tight.
Which I love.
And they both have had lasting legacies, I think.
I think so too. Minority Report in my top 10 Steven Spielberg films, maybe close to top 5. So much to talk about with that. But we have some other people I want to introduce real quick too. We also have the Canadian Pat Hogue, who is part of the Beanie Brigade tonight, as we're going to go ahead and call it.
Hi.
You too.
My name is Stitch, and this is my family.
That's a rabbit.
Yes. We started off on the right foot. One, I want to address a few things. Evan, I didn't choose that picture. That was Chris Park, I believe. So, if you want to insult it,
my emotions, I do not have reasons for. They just happen.
I'm just glad that PJ brought up you have Chris devouring a creature and then my stoic face, and that's what disturbs you more. Hi guys, I'm excited to be here. Funny thing about that box office weekend is that Lilo and Stitch severely overperformed. They did not expect it to do as well as it was going to, and Minority Report underperformed. So they kind of
met in the middle.
Yeah, they both got within the $30 million range, where Steven Spielberg and Tom Cruise are teaming up for a movie that's going to be the runaway success. And then Lilo and Stitch, Disney's got Treasure Planet down the line, which is going to be their big hit. And then little did they know that this movie was going to be the one that became the beloved classic to last throughout the year. So I'm ready to cry.
Yeah, I definitely am too. But there's a lot to talk about that weekend when you look at it, because it wouldn't end up being until War of the Worlds that Tom Cruise and Steven Spielberg teaming up ran away with the box office, because War of the Worlds ended up becoming a massive hit and is still fairly beloved. There's a lot of people who consider it one of Spielberg's best. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but I do think it's a good movie. But we got one more guest, and he's been sitting there for 7 minutes waiting to come on, and that is our friend James White. How you doing, sir?
Dude, I'm doing great. I'm hanging out with great people, and I'm about to watch one of my favorite movies. What can you ask for?
You have been beating at my door for us to do this movie since we started the watch-alongs.
Yeah, and I really hate that it was this, situation that brought it on. But I'm happy to be able to share this with you, at least.
Yeah,
in your grief, man.
Yeah. So after it happened and everything went down, that I reached out to you that night and I was like, hey, we're doing Lilo and Stitch on Monday. I want to have you on, because I knew you had already wanted to do it. And, Monday night has been our animation night. So what a perfect time to do it. Because originally we were going to do the Simpsons movie. We were just going to continue the ball of doing movies that moved from television to theaters. But, this just felt more appropriate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pat, really quick, I have something over my head. What is that?
Yeah. That would be our Streamlabs.
Oh, what does it do for us?
I don't know. Why don't you tell the people at home?
Oh God, I was hoping you would do that. God damn it, Pat. Anyways, our Streamlabs just helps us maintain and upkeep everything that looks nice here. The reason why we're able to use StreamYards is because of Streamlabs. We had a really good run last Friday with Mark. He was chugging Coors Light. Granted, I don't have Coors Light, so I can't promise that I can chug a beer for you guys. But if you'd like to donate $1 or $2, just to help keep things going, our Podbean running.
Or you could be like Jake Yacovetta and donate 100 crisp ones in one fell swoop.
Yeah, and then Mark Ellis,
what a moment,
chugs on screen. It was great.
It was great.
Yes.
I'll chug everything right now. I got 3 beers here. I'll chug them all for $100. Let's go. Somebody drop it.
This is a Disney children's film.
This is a family show.
This isn't Young Guns 2.
If anyone has ever tuned into this network and was expecting a family show, they're going to be severely disappointed very quickly.
Oh yeah, no. The worst part is I had a joke lined up, but I chose not to do it because it's a family show. But I'm going to say anyways because we're off the rails. Where we're whenever Pat was doing his Stitch bit, I wanted to say, so whose hand is up your ass controlling you right now?
That's fair.
Yeah,
all right,
exactly.
We're not even 10 minutes in, and we've devolved.
So if you guys have not already, of course, you can find Lilo and Stitch streaming. It is on Disney Plus. We all have it stocked at 000 on our respective televisions, computers, what have you, to watch the film tonight. Yes, that includes you. You get to watch too. Thank you.
Bork. Me too.
Bork, he's being very barky tonight, and I don't know why. This is the first time since we've done any of the watch-alongs he's decided to be so vocal.
He gets emotional over this movie too. I completely understand.
I get it.
He was
too.
singing the song of Stitch.
That is not wrong.
He misses his cat, bro.
Yeah,
This is all Pat's fault because he started speaking as Stitch.
This ananas, that word is
Animosity.
Thank you, Max. That's why we have.
Unanimous.
That's a nice throwback right there.
You son of a bitch.
Hydroponic farm.
We
You
have
know
so
what,
much
Max?
happening.
The next
I'm
time I make
upset.
announcements, I'm gonna forget your name, not on
You mean
accident
like
this
you've
time,
done
but on
every
purpose.
It's okay. Everybody knows who I am, whether or not you say my name.
It's true.
You're not wrong.
All
I
right.
really don't want to know this. Now.
So we're going to count down from 5. When we say go, you're going to hit play like we're going to hit play. You're going to ignore everything Evan is saying because he's being a jerk right now, and I apologize for that. We're all going to watch Lilo and Stitch and have a really nice time talking about one of my favorite films of all time and my favorite animated film probably of all time with all these lovely people. So with that, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go.
God, that gives me so much anxiety every time.
Every time. I love the opening with the castle. Just I miss this. I know,
Every
but
time.
I also like this one specifically.
I
Because
get you.
it's the Lilo and Stitch themed one.
Well, that's
Lilo
when
and
you know they were
Stitch.
serious.
A
And,
great
like,
movie and maybe the worst theme park attraction of all time.
One
yeah.
that I never actually got to go on.
Oh,
but
you're
we can-
lucky.
We can talk about that all next weekend. This weekend.
I
Whatever.
love the alien design.
I do too.
I should put on subtitles.
And I
Yeah,
gotta
so did
say,
you know,
Evan,
guys,
that
this
shirt
movie
is
takes
really,
place in-
really bothering me.
Who sure?
This movie takes place in the University of
Evan's
Washington.
Florida State shirt's really bothering me.
That's fair.
That's okay.
He wore it just for me, and that's
I
okay.
actually
because
didn't.
I brought
Dude,
this
no.
for you. It's Stitch in a Gators jersey.
What a mistake.
No,
What a
it's
fucking
amazing.
mistake. Wait, Max. Wait, whoa. Did you go to UF?
No, but I like the Gators. I grew up in Florida and I always
That's
rooted for
right.
the Gators.
But
All right, I just really want to talk about real fact how much I love David Ogden Stiers in this.
Mm.
I think he's so fantastic. I'm a big fan of MASH. The TV series is one of my all-time favorites. It was actually one of the first shows I ever owned on like a season set, and I collected it all the way through. And I always loved him in that show, and I never realized until later in life how much he had become like an animation voiceover actor. And this is maybe my favorite performance from him.
When
I
I
didn't know
was
he was in this.
when I was younger, I performed in the candlelight processional at Epcot, where like your schools in Florida would learn the songs and then come, and there'd always be a narrator, and he was the narrator that night, which was super cool.
Oh, that's amazing. The one time I saw the candlelight procession at Disneyland, it was Gary Sinise, and that was pretty cool.
Oh.
Oh,
Did he have his legs?
He did have his legs.
Okay, good.
Okay, so it's
I've
like
seen-
93 then.
Yeah, I've seen Neil Patrick Harris do it 3 times.
Awesome.
Oh,
He seems
good
like he
for
does it
you.
every year.
Yeah.
He's been doing a really
Yeah, because they get a free trip for their family tied up with it. It's perfect.
Those
yeah,
shoulders.
because they're really scrapping for cash.
I just want to shout out, Max, apparently you were not wrong. The ride is something. Chris
Good.
Clark saying R.I.P. David Ogden Stiers.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah,
we had a great
that's
game.
Major
I really-
Charles Emerson Winchester III, one of the greatest MASH characters. I agree.
Look, I'm gonna squash this now. To all the Gator fans out there, let me know how your basketball season went. That's all I have to say.
Hey, Evan, let's move on and actually enjoy the movie. How about that?
I am. I see it.
Ew.
Stitch has a lot of slobber.
Ew.
Yeah.
I freaking love Stitch. Like, just as a character, the design, everything he does is so goddamn perfect.
But it's also so anti-Disney of like he's kind of gross. He's really aggressive and like it's
Well,
so
that was-
different than
That was a big part of the marketing campaign for the movie. I think why it overperformed is you remember those trailers
You're the
where
best.
he would like go into other Disney films and cause absolute chaos.
Oh
I
my
mean,
gosh.
shout out to that because that marketing campaign played such a big part in my upbringing and like the meta humor of all of it that I have a whole line of artwork. And James, you've seen it. You saw it in my apartment. I have artwork where Stitch is infiltrating other movies, including Rocketeer, Indiana Jones, Back to the Future, and Godzilla.
And I want them all.
I have I have a drawing that Karen Hallion's boyfriend did. I can't remember his. Oh, Brandon Kenny of Stitch as Hamilton.
Oh, that's amazing.
With the costume from the musical, which is really cool.
That's awesome.
It also can't be understated how important the TV show was to like my generation of kids.
Oh, yeah.
Like loving the movie and then knowing, 616. And they're gonna have like a procedural where every week is a new like
626.
No.
I didn't want to be the guy.
In fact, if you ever come to our house, our Wi-Fi is experiment 626. I'm not going to tell you the password, but that's the network.
Wow. That's
Yes. 616 you're thinking of is the Marvel Universe.
Yeah.
Sure, that's what it was.
Numbers.
I'm just saying.
Starring Judd Nelson. No, Judd Hirsch.
I love this. The guns going up and down as he's messing with them. It just makes me so happy.
The character design of all of these, like, just skirts the line between genuinely creepy and Disney. Like, it doesn't feel like anything else Disney had done animation-wise prior or since, really.
Yeah.
Well, and it's weird because like they have this cold open of all these different alien races, robots, all this kind of stuff. And then when you get to Hawaii, it's like all like watercolor, like water painted backgrounds, like Stitch and her relationship with her sister and her friends is so different than what we see in these movies of like the characters they focus on Earth are just as like different than the aliens they created like for space, making it feel so fresh and new.
We shout out the Space Raptors because that's clearly what those was Space Raptors.
Space Raptors.
Apparently, and I didn't know this, Hollywood Studios has a bunch of attractions that have themes stitching in the shops. That's awesome.
There's Bellhop Stitch.
Oh, that's cute.
I have a pin. Oh, that's awesome.
That's real.
This is also right around the time with Disney, with Atlantis, this, and Treasure Planet, where the movies had a lot more gunfire than any of their other animated films.
Yeah.
Jedi Stitch.
I loved that. But that was the shot in the trailer that made me want to see the movie after the other teasers was Stitch flying through space because it reminded me of Star Wars, seeing all the other ships like this. Like,
yeah, it's a great aerial space dogfight. It's awesome.
Yeah. Also, Stitch just being like, I have no idea what I'm doing just makes me so happy.
Indiana Jones Stitch.
That's great.
That's so cool. Mike K, I did know that there was a Stitch anime in Japan. I've never actually watched it because part of me fundamentally disagrees with the story choice it makes of Lilo getting rid of him or him leaving Lilo. That just feels strange to me.
Stitch has to go to college, man.
Whoa.
That is such a cool shot.
So good.
Very cool.
It's like a wave, which it's almost like the great foreshadow of him ending up in, of all places, Hawaii, because it feels like it's kind of a setup of what the waves look like in the water and stuff. So
I think one of the reasons Hogue was saying that that the TV show, helped, broaden that love for it, and the sequels as well, with the exception of I think it was Dakota Fanning doing Lilo's voice in 2. The voice cast has always been the same for the most part. They get everybody to do it, DeVay Chase and Chris Sanders doing the mains for almost everything. So you have that continuity.
Well, and that's not the only Chris Sanders series that was that way. The other one was How to Train Your Dragon, where he managed to keep most of the voice actors around, even
although
for the shows.
He only directed the first one. He left to do the Croods when Dean DeBlois, whatever, stayed on. And then Chris Sanders directed the Harrison Ford Call of the Wild, which came out, one of the few movies that this year will have.
Yeah, I was not a fan of that.
It was fine.
It was fine. I thought it was a good family movie, but my biggest problem is I felt like it lacked the teeth that it needed.
This is a good family movie. That is just passable.
Right. I
just watched What Lies Beneath with Harrison Ford. That's a weird movie.
Clark Gregg wrote that movie?
Yeah. I was like, no, it can't be the same one.
I love the
same one. Like an alien designed with a single large eye is always a good choice, in my opinion, especially if they're going to be sort of the comedic relief.
And Kevin McDonald as Pleakley is such great casting. Like, his voice is perfect for this.
But they're working on a live action, and if it's not Kenneth from 30 Rock, what's his name?
Jack McBrayer.
Yeah. Jack McBrayer as like a live action of this guy kind of feels.
That's kind of brilliant, actually.
Matt Whitehurst wants to ask me a MASH question. Yes, Matt, go ahead.
And if they're doing live action, you got to get Ving Rhames as Cobra Bubbles.
Oh yeah,
I mean, come on.
You don't need it. He do it himself.
Exactly.
Oh, he wants to know my favorite episode. I don't. That's hard. There's a lot. I mean, I think Goodbye, Farewell, Amen still is my favorite series finale of all time outside of Lost. So that might go to it just because I think it was very ambitious for what they tried. But I'm also a sucker for literally every one of the episodes where Hawkeye's writing home to his dad, and you're seeing a very different version of like the characters in the show. And there's the documentary episodes were always good too, very ahead of their time.
I need to watch all of MASH again. Like I haven't seen like the later seasons. But
that show was revolutionary because it took what Robert Altman did on film and did it on television before anyone was doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Because like people talking over people and having multiple conversations at one time, we feel like we see that all the time now. Like that's pretty much anything. But Robert Altman was super ahead of his time when he did it.
To the point of frustrating people of like, I can't hear one person. He's like, I know, right? It's great.
Yeah.
Just like life, just like this podcast.
Correct. We're crushing it.
Yeah, I got the complete MASH box set.
It's such a great box set.
Oh, are you trying to say that I complete you?
Yeah, sorry.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, Liz.
I don't like how he has fingernails. That creeps me out. Here we
One
go.
of the most underrated Disney songs of all time.
Yeah.
Oh,
very much so.
It's so funny because there's something about this song that whenever I hear it, I feel like, and this is going to be cheesy, just like pure warm Disney vibes go up my spine.
Absolutely.
And I know Disney's a monopoly and it's corporation and it's capitalism, whatever, but also I believe in Disney magic and fairy dust. And this song is just like, when they used to play it in the Disney store, I would always be like,
it gives me chills every single time. Plus the animation is beautiful. Like it just complements each other in the right way.
Well, it's just like also, you know, as a white boy growing up in upstate New York, like to see, you know, like Hawaiian culture. Like, and, you know, like hula dancing and surfing and kind of
realistic body images.
And just, I don't know, like it, regardless of the capitalist corporation that they are, you know, you look at something like Coco that they do and like Moana, and it's just, that's going to be the, you know, a younger person who would not be exposed to those cultures. Like,
can we also talk about the beauty of the backdrop of the animation? Like the watercolors of it all are just so perfect for
coloration is stunning.
Hold on.
You see it the most during the surfing scene.
Mm-hmm.
I love her obsession with taking pictures of fat people. And that poor guy never gets his ice cream.
I know, man.
It's like Kevin McAllister never gets his mac and cheese.
That's true. Every time I hear this song, I just feel like I'm at the Polynesian.
Mm-hmm. I want a Dole Whip. I want some rum. I want to go to Ohana and eat the crack noodles.
I want a lapu lapu. I want some of the bread. What is that bread at Ohana?
I want to go to Kona Cafe and get Tonga toast. Watch the fireworks go up over the Seven Seas Lagoon.
Yes. Preferably from a bungalow hot tub.
That sounds amazing. When are we going?
Sorry that we're not all swaying on Maxwell's level. I apologize.
These guys went on to do How to Train Your Dragon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's what I said literally like
5 minutes ago.
We didn't all talk about it.
I'm just too focused on this song. I'm like, oh, it's so.
It's interesting. This movie is always kind of thought of as like towards the end of like the last generation of Disney, but I really feel like so much of what this movie was.
That's a good point. Like it does kind of feel like the beginning of the next part of what Disney became also. I mean, it was very forward thinking and ahead of its time in a way that I think a lot of their movies, especially the last decade, have been. I think that they rebounded a lot. Like there's been kind of a second Disney renaissance.
Yeah, clearly would make a great double feature with Moana.
Mm-hmm. Oh, 100%. Brian wants to know, who would you guys cast in the live action Lilo and Stitch? For me, I'd like to see Julia Butters as Lilo.
I'd rather they find someone Polynesian.
Yeah.
But Aulili Craviallo could definitely play the older sister.
Yes.
I feel like that's a home run. Already in the Disney family. She's the right age now. Excuse me if I mispronounced her name. Did the best I could.
I can never know how to pronounce that.
I know it's Aulii, and then the next part, Craviallo. I don't know. But
see, she's such a kid. Like, just like, I will attack you. I don't like you. Like,
So
Can we all agree that Myrtle is one of the most evil characters in all of Disney history, too?
Yeah. And did you guys see that horrible Reddit thread thing that was going on?
Tumblr.
Yeah, the Tumblr post about how evil this movie is, and it's bad because it shames white people, and how Lilo's a brat. And I was like, yeah, literally Lilo being a brat is the point of the film. Congratulations.
I mean, you have to remember that she lost her parents, and her and her sister are just trying to figure it out. It is not easy.
And she's 6.
Yeah, she's
one of the younger Disney lead characters.
Also, the villain, what's her name? The evil girl with the glasses.
Myrtle, which we just said again.
No, I know, but she has the exact same hair as Maxine from a Goofy movie.
Yes,
that's true.
Oh my gosh,
she kind of looks similar, actually.
I didn't need that in my life. Oh my god.
You're talking about Roxanne, not Maxine.
Roxanne, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, Maxine?
I don't know. I tried to Google it.
That is right. The Disney does do a lot of culture studying. They've always been pretty good at that.
Well, so it's funny on the topic of Hawaii because one of my friends, she lived in Hawaii for 2 years because her family's military, and she was telling me a lot about the culture there. There's a big like cultural divide in the Hawaiian Islands. Due to you have military coming in, then you also have the natives that lives there obviously for a certain amount of time, and it's super religious there, but on two different ends. Right. So it's the like a lot of colorism and racism exists in Hawaii, just not in ways you would expect. You'd think about a tourist location or somewhere people want to visit, but it's honestly like a place where people live and function, and it's just interesting to think about, and this film does it. For what it needs to do, it does it pretty well.
Stupid head.
Hell yeah.
That's interesting.
Ving Rhames has got to be in this movie, right? If you're doing live action.
I really don't want him to do it.
No, I know you guys said that, but I'm like repeating the point. Like, it's got to be him, right?
No, it does have to be him.
One of the things I love about the animation is the backgrounds are so still, and most of the movement is the characters, but they almost look like watercolors.
Just a little bit.
Like if you look at, you can almost see the brush strokes.
Yeah, I miss hand-drawn animation, dude.
See, this
I miss hand-drawn so much
that Disney will ever get to like Studio Ghibli. Like this feels like the most kind of like they're brushing up with that kind of whimsy that like the best Hayao Miyazaki movies like get to.
Style-wise, sure. I think Coco and Moana have elements of that too, but it's so different with the computer animation.
It's that, but like this one also has more deliberate pacing than those. Like her just like going back to grab the doll, and just like it's a long shot that just sits on it, and like Coco is great and has those vibes, but it's very kinetic and it's very like a fast moving. Bubbles, run.
Well, yeah, you could also argue they're trying to match the pace of their lead characters. We're like Lilo, we've talked about this for still very, young girl, while Miguel is a very like all over the place boy, and the pace of the movies you could argue matches their main.
I don't know if I would describe like Lilo as not all over the place.
No, but it's not that. But like it's things that she still stays safe with, so it's important to get that long shot.
I'm just meaning of like, especially in the concept of like, you have magical realism with like the aliens, and then like this little girl in a small town that's in an exotic location feels very Spirited Away, especially since Lilo is voiced by the same girl who does Chihiro in Spirited Away.
And they came out the same year.
Yeah, and this Spirited Away won the best picture or the best animated picture over this, which people
probably should have.
Nani is such a great character, you guys.
I agree with that decision, but it's close.
Yeah, it's close.
You look real close, you can see a Band-Aid on the back of his neck.
That's where his soul is escaping through. I love Lilo and Stitch. And
it's fantastic.
Look, Spirited Away, obviously, like it deserved to win. It's great that movie won, but I love this movie so much that I would love to have believed it could have won back in the day. Yeah. I mean, especially now when you think about it, like as ahead of its time as it kind of was. Mm-hmm. Mike K saying that you don't mess with Ving Rhames' car. No, you do not. Matt Whitehurst says, I'm going to bring up an Elvis Presley film just because of the talk of Hawaii. Blue Hawaii has the tourist vibe for the viewers watching that film. I've actually never been to Hawaii as much as I would love to, so I don't know the vibe that Hawaii has, but I've always felt like this film, from what I understand of it, has always gotten it. Another one I actually, weirdly enough, thought kind of did in a way was Aloha, even though the movie's not very good. And then, of course, for me, Forgetting Sarah Marshall, which is like one of the all-time great breakup films.
Talk about another one of my favorite movies.
Which one? Forgetting Sarah Marshall?
Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Oh my god!
yeah,
I can't tell you how many times I've seen that.
That is for me.
Boosh. I love that movie. I can just watch it all day.
For me, that is the best of the Apatow era.
Absolutely.
Of that time. Like, even though he only produced it, that is easily my favorite. And Get Him to the Greek is a close second. Like, that spin-off follow-up is pretty fantastic.
See, I remember not enjoying it the first time I saw it, and I haven't revisited it. I do have it. Like, I bought it a couple months ago. I just saw it out somewhere for cheap, and I was like, I'll get it. So I need to rewatch it, but I remember not liking it because like Jonah Hill playing a completely different person in the same universe just really bothered me.
That's
we
fair.
we all have doppelgangers out there.
Yeah, I just think that movie's like super hilarious and gets a totally different side of things. That God, the voodoo dolls.
I completely forgot about it.
She's such a singular character.
Yeah, Kale. Is it?
There's no one like Lilo.
Your knuckles say Cobra.
She's so realistic as a kid.
Yep.
Just like, I love this.
Everything. I just love her so much. She's a fantastic character.
I also want to shout out for Hawaii movies, the Descendants 3.
Oh yeah, Descendants is another good one. I really like that movie too.
A tactic I used on my brothers all the time when we would fight. I'm like, bleh.
It's just such a realistic depiction of, this precocious kid. It's just so different.
But it's also such a realistic, like, this is such a sister relationship. That's smart. Pizza Bacca's cover.
So that was what they changed. Apparently that was something Disney decided needed to be a thing, that they made it a pizza box is inside the dryer.
I don't care one way or the other. Pizza box is fun.
I don't know. I think it's problematic that we change stuff like that, personally speaking. I mean, I know it's a little thing, but revisionist history is not a thing that I'm necessarily a big fan of. And I think Disney does it a little too frequently, pretending that they didn't even do like Song of the South, even though they still profit off it.
Okay,
but
they don't
that's
profit off
different.
of it anymore, though. That's the thing.
No,
they don't
this
profit off of Song of the South anymore. Outside of
This is
Splash
changed
Mountain.
for safety reasons. That way a kid doesn't climb in a washing machine or a dryer.
Yeah.
The other, they're trying to erase, racial history. But you have to admit some things have happened and you move on in the process socially. But this is for human safety. They're like, oh, well, we're going to take this out. That way somebody doesn't climb into a dryer. It's different.
I don't necessarily agree, because even the small things lead to bigger. And as we see, this is the stuff they do. Like, just strictly speaking. And I like Disney a lot. I worked for the company for a long time. So it's not like I'm...
Yeah, no, I completely understand what you're saying. I just don't agree with the same parallels, because one is for, preventing something from happening again. And the other one is hiding something that happened in the past.
But I also think that you're also getting to a point where it's like, so we're doing this. I mean, it's not a conversation we necessarily have to have, but I just think that you're also doing the policing of parenting for other people, when it's like, really, we should just make sure you're telling your kids don't climb into a dryer. It's a movie and she's acting out.
Well, notice all the pictures of fat people on the wall.
Yeah, this is the best. Like, to Max's point earlier.
Generally for me, like when we have this conversation, and PJ and I see this two completely different ways. Like, if it's super consistent, as like it is forever consistently changing, it's okay. But they're doing things that are small and are poignant. But like now, because these movies are more accessible and times have changed, I have once climbed into a dryer, and I have once hurt myself a lot by doing something like that. Where did I get the idea from? I don't know. But if someone got the idea from this, imagine even being a filmmaker and you hear about that, and the child goes, "Hey, where'd you learn this?" From Lilo Stitch. That would suck.
But Evan, if the filmmaker doesn't do it, then it's not right that they're doing it.
Guys, I just think that they need to change, specifically the fact that Han Solo didn't shoot first. We all know this, okay? They need to keep going back to the fact that he didn't shoot first, okay? Can we change that? If we're going to have one change in history?
Well, and again, I'm just not a fan of just in general revisionist history.
Can we move past the revisionist history and acknowledge the fact that Stitch has come to Earth?
Yes.
Come on.
Oh yeah, this is an alien movie.
Stitch is here. Let's go.
Someone had that ready to go.
Yeah. See, and of
When
course,
you own a Stitch onesie, there's only one appropriate time to wear such onesie.
and look, I'm not. I feel like people think I'm like pro kids dying or something, and it's not even that. It's
No.
more like I don't know, man. I don't mean it like that. It's just a weird thing for me. I just don't necessarily agree with stuff like that because at the end of the day, she still gets in a dryer. We just changed it to look like a pizza box.
I have no opinion. Let's watch the movie.
This hiss gets me every time.
Him
And
and
the
the frog.
Shite!
The fact that he pokes the frog in the eye is my favorite.
I love that the closed captioning said Barks orders an alien.
Yeah.
I noticed that too.
They don't even have a name in the language. And the frog is just like, murder, I'm here.
Also, that's gruesome, but great.
So dark. He literally gets run over by 2 trucks like that.
He's fine.
If I had a nickel every time.
You might have
One of
like
my
3
favorite
nipples.
gifts.
The dogs are terrified of him. And
A little bit of a thing reference there.
yeah.
Those dogs look like they're closer to Bolt than they are to Lady and the Tramp, and that kind of makes me laugh.
bulldog and his buggy eyes.
I really like Bolt, by the way. That movie is overlooked a lot.
So many amazing gifts in just like this next 15 minutes too.
Yeah, absolutely. The fact that this movie has become like meme central says so much about its impact overall and like how it's held on in our cultural pantheon of significance. And I kind of love that because so many of Disney's films haven't in the same
You know
way.
what? The surprising thing is most of like the Stitch memes, like in gifts that you look for, they're actually from Stitch too. Lilo
Yeah,
and Stitch
I noticed that
has
too.
so many moments in it.
That is, in my opinion, maybe their best direct-to-video film because it doesn't feel like any of the other direct-to-video films. Like it actually feels like a theatrical release.
Stitch 2, Stitch Has a Glitch, I'll say it on air now, is the first movie to ever make me cry because Stitch hits Lilo and I didn't understand why. Because they were best friends and that's not supposed to happen. And
The way that
Wow.
Stitch wags his tail reminds me of my corgis because corgis have very similar tails in that they really don't have any. It just makes me happy.
I love how pudgy they both are.
Yeah, really.
Like, look how content Lilo is.
I know.
I like him.
This movie makes me so happy.
It really does, man. And him
I
trying to act like a dog makes me happy.
I love the contrast between like Lilo's red dress and the blue one Stitch. It's just like really just good design on the animator's part.
Yeah, he's good. I can tell.
Someone should take a freeze frame of James right now so he can use it as his online dating profile picture.
That's a good idea,
I
actually.
think he looks so great.
it's not a good name in Iceland.
I just think that James is super adorable in his little Stitch onesie.
Oh, this is
Thank you.
cute. This
You're
is real
welcome.
cute right here.
I want to buy him.
Artist is right. She looks like
$2.
her mother. I hadn't even thought about that before. That is correct.
I would easily pay $3 for Stitch.
I would pay $300 for Stitch.
That's creepy.
I like the good point. You thought it was dead, but you had it with all the other dogs in the morning. Yeah, well, you know, things happen. We all make choices.
That's evil, Stitch. Just use Lilo as a meat shield.
Yeah, well, you know, he's also still an evil alien at this point. So.
He learned how to bark so quickly.
Yeah, he did. He's smart.
Educate yourself.
I just love that they're using what are those called again? shoot. Do you guys remember?
Viewfinder?
Yeah, the viewfinder. Like, I
Yeah.
love that that's their way of looking at history, and he's using it. I had a viewfinder when I was younger, and it was like one of the old school viewfinders. And my mom had all these things from like the 80s, so it had like old Disney movies like The Parent Trap and The Cat from Outer Space and all of these things. So for the longest time, I remember all those older Disney films and stuff from the viewfinders more than the actual movies.
Sounds about right.
And I love that he's also watching B monster movies because,
And I love that it's like
built
live
the city of
action footage. I
Tokyo
think
and
that's so
destroys
clever.
yeah,
Oh my god, that destruction of the town scene kills me every time. Help me, H!
yeah.
And this is way too hot. I'm not going to be wearing this for very long.
See, not a family show, folks.
Not accepted. God, she's so evil, you guys.
Stitch, eat them.
Elizabeth, I always think of the contractual issue of Lilo signing for Stitch. I assumed that it was fine since, Nani was right there more than anything.
Stole that girl's tricycle.
Excuse me, that is not a tricycle. That's a big wheel, sir.
Look at
My
the
apologies.
drag makeup.
I know. And then the mustache that Jumba has.
Wait, now he has Roxanne's hair.
Roxanne.
I love this too. It's just,
So pretty.
it is. It's so pretty. I wonder if Rob Pattinson was in that lighthouse.
Ooh,
Him like in Willem Dafoe, naked, drunk,
farting at each
dancing.
other.
Yeah.
How about you in the
That's
snow?
another good one.
Him falling over like that is my favorite. Just he's so defeated at life.
The spray bottle is the best.
We do that with our dog sometimes.
Dipper is not affected by spray bottles. He just sits there and stares at me after, and it's really, really annoying.
Oh,
I like the two aliens, how they're like very Abbott and Costello. Like
You're-
they're very like
yeah.
Laurel and Hardy.
Pardis even says Jumba and Pleakley are one of my favorite duos ever. And yeah, I mean, they're fantastic. Just great characters.
Oh God, what I would do for a snow cone right now.
So
Dude, seriously,
much.
right?
Looks so refreshing.
He gave that dog a concussion.
And he throws the postcards at him. It's just so, oh man, everything.
The defeat in his eyes right now.
Yeah.
But just the fact that they showed Lilo crawling into it.
He just fell over dead.
Oh man, it's just so good. It just makes me so happy.
Oh, I love
These
this.
biceps.
The animation of this is just amazing.
Oh
The
yeah.
fire.
I mean, look.
A person drew this.
Have you
I'll be
seen
back,
the
fellas.
the show at the Polynesian, James?
No, I haven't.
You should.
I just adore hand drawn so much, and I'm gonna keep saying it as we watch it because I mean, look, CGI is beautiful, and I think you can do a lot with it. But just look at the animation in this.
Yeah.
Someone hand drew all this, and how awesome it is.
I don't see why Disney can't make a return to it for at least one film. See how it goes.
I don't think they've abandoned
They
it
did.
completely. I mean, they
No,
did it with
but-
Princess and the Frog, but it's been a long while.
That was a long time
They
ago.
did, and look at the box office of it. That was the
Yeah.
issue.
Yeah, but I mean, Evan, it's been over 10 years now. If you went back and did it now, there's enough nostalgia you might be able to pull it off for even a movie.
Yeah, I think they could pull it off.
It just takes so long to develop a hand-drawn animated movie.
Yeah.
Guys.
I think what could be the push is something that comes from Studio Ghibli, but that's made for an American audience and is meant for an American release, and have that push. But that will never happen. But have that push,
I think
the meta one way.
I think you could still do it. If anyone could still pull it off, it's Disney. I have no doubt in my mind, especially with the marketing mission behind them.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. I don't think
Mike K in the chat said that, and he's right, that Jennifer Lee, who now took over Lasseter's job as head of Walt Disney Animation, that they've discussed it, so it's not wholly off the table that they might return to it. Nothing would make me happier, honestly.
Me too, and I'm glad that Mike is really, really intelligent on this stuff. We were actually on his podcast yesterday talking about animation, and I mean, if I didn't even hear that about what Jennifer Lee said, so I love hearing that. And then here, hand drawn is the best, and that we need more of it. Absolutely. Yeah, Winnie the Pooh was the last one in 2011, and it had not the best release.
Oh, I forgot about one.
That is such a lovely movie. And I don't know if you've seen the end credit scene with the Baxton is one of the funniest things ever in a Disney movie.
Mm-hmm. That movie is so charming and also only like an hour. It's amazing how quickly that movie.
Oh no! Peril!
He's biting. Stop hurting Stitch. You bad man.
I love that an alien with one eye is, inconspicuous by wearing a wig and a hat.
Yep. Well, it's just like Superman puts on the glasses and we don't recognize him. It's all good. Apparently,
and Jumbo always wears like glasses that cover 2 out of his 6 eyes.
Someone apparently they can hear the movie echo on. I'm not sure who it is.
I don't know.
What'd I miss? Everything.
Nothing. We're just kind of talking. Yes, Kale, it did open against Harry Potter. That's why I said it had an unfortunate opening date. I saw both that weekend, but
he kind of looks like if Gaston let himself go
and then opened a resort.
Yeah.
I think it's the red shirt. Red shirt.
Yeah, the shirt is similar. Yeah.
Gaston, but no.
I love that she makes up stuff like that for Lilo.
I knew it.
It's so good. You know what it reminds me of all thing is How I Met Your Mother, and how at one point Marshall thinks that one of the guys who runs the bar that they go to all the time is a vampire. Of all the things, and then he rolls away. That's a DuckTales type reference right there, because
like Critters.
Or Critters. Man, I love Critters. Hey, man, I've been attacked by a blender like that. I get it. Poor Stitch. We adopted it. That is a great reference, Matt. He said that the aliens are like Team Rocket in disguises.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I hadn't even thought about that before, but yeah, that is accurate.
Forgotten.
They always fail because they don't have a Mewtwo.
Correct. Did anyone see the remake of Mewtwo Strikes Back that they did in all CGI, by the way? Because I
know.
Mew.
I've heard it's bad.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I want to. I will. But I have such nostalgia. Yeah, I have the original Mewtwo card that came with the VHS.
Me too.
Yeah.
I have it. Dude, I have the ancient Mew card still from when you bought your ticket and saw it in theaters. So,
dude.
I saw those first 3 in theaters. I was part of a Pokemon trading card league when the 3rd one came out. And I saw it early because of it. So Pokemon was one of my real obsessions back in the day.
I wasn't too hard, but I was Pokemon kid all the way.
So I was in a trading card league, and I had figured out the people. I mean, I was from a small town already, but the fact that I had people that I could play with, I had figured out all their decks, and I had enough cards that I built decks around all of their decks so I could beat them every time.
That's wow.
Conniving.
I know. Oh, is that Oswald? Hi, Oswald.
Wow. That is a cute dog.
Disney Magic says that they did watch it and it was a thing. Mike K said he heard the remake was terrible. Whitehurst said he checked it out, but I love this 2D animated film more.
Oh, San Francisco. That's where it was, not Tokyo.
Hello, Amber. We're happy to have you here. Thank you for joining. I love Kale's watching Golden Girls while he also watches us, and he said, "Oh my God, Leslie Nielsen just kissed B.R. Barney instead of Golden Girls."
Somehow I think that it would match up.
I mean, you know.
Are we about to get the mosquito scene?
Yes.
Mosquito.
I'm irrationally irritated by the subtitles spell it Ohana like it's Irish. It's not Irish. No, it is not.
Oh,
I was just thinking the same thing while watching that. I was like, I didn't realize there was supposed to be an apostrophe there.
You know, Chance Ellison knows about putting apostrophes where things don't belong.
No, but he still gets it correct either way.
All right, boys, this kind of beef needs to stay out of our children's films. When Brick comes around, you can litigate Chance all you want. This scene terrified me.
Dude, I feel like I've experienced this before. Where my grandparents live in Virginia Beach, that area, the mosquitoes are so bad there.
Yeah.
Like it's awful.
If you're on the East Coast.
You haven't experienced mosquitoes unless you've lived in Florida or visited.
I live there. I live in Florida too.
In
Wait, no,
Orlando
it's
where
worse.
the flies were just. Oh
no,
my
because
God.
where my grandparents live, it's brackish and it's all marsh.
Yeah,
It
where
is
I-
much
where I
worse
live,
there than it
I
is in
was
Florida.
well, it depends where you're at in Florida. That's what I was saying. I was over by the Indian River, which is brackish water too.
Yeah.
So it was the size of like freaking hummingbirds over there.
It's so bad in Gainesville too. Sometimes.
Yeah, Gainesville is-
I think if I ever have a son, I'm just gonna name it 626. Is that legal?
Yes, absolutely.
What?
Yeah,
Please don't
6
do
is
that.
a first name.
Surprise, Elizabeth. I know you're watching.
Apparently, Amber says she watched the quarantine watch party for Avengers Endgame with the Russos and Robert Downey Jr. stopped by. That is rad.
Well, they
That's
didn't have any
awesome.
live animals like we just did, so.
That's true.
Sorry, Chris Sanders isn't popping in.
By the way, oyster farming, is it for you being one of the books that they own just cracks me up.
Oyster farming is difficult.
Right.
I
Roadmaps of Iowa.
I like how he just wants to like
But
destroy.
the duck, he loves the duck.
Oh, this makes me so sad.
I know. I have a print of him reading this book with ducklings. And
I saw it, and it's amazing.
it's so good.
We have at least 2 Lilo and Stitch prints around our house.
Guys, I'm gonna start tearing up already.
I just love it so much. And it just breaks my heart because he's starting to realize the value of what all this means and being the one that's lost and alone.
And see, like, he just sits in his bed.
His look when she says that and just being like, I'll listen. I want to
Hang on,
be
hang
not
on.
alone.
This is the best.
Nani?
Oh, yeah, this is incredible.
Like, and just like the blank stare Lilo gives.
And Stitch is just going with it.
Oh, that kills me every time.
Oh, Mr. Bubbles.
And the book.
Oh, God. This hurt every time. Just, oh, God. Oh, man.
That's
my puppy is so excited.
God, those shoulders. Ugh.
I know. It's hard to have
that's a
broad
good
shoulders like
line.
that. I can say that personally.
I wouldn't know anything about having broad shoulders.
I've always had broad shoulders, and it's super frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
It's made it hard to get shirts and stuff because, you know, sometimes they fit right and sometimes they don't. Like, that's another time and another place to have that conversation.
Oh, here we go. The montage of the century.
From this point on, like for like the next 4 minutes, are just like my favorite parts of the movie.
Oh my God, that just picture of Elvis. Just
I love the little bits of live action imagery like tucked in there. It's so whimsical.
Right. Amber, I'm with you. I like pestered my parents to make sure that we got this movie as soon as it hit VHS. I wanted to watch it all the time. It's one of the movies that I would say was in constant rotation for me.
I was
Once
very
it hit VHS.
close to getting a Stitch tattoo, but went another direction last time.
Yeah, I really want to get one still because I never got my Disney tattoo working for the company. Like anyone who works for Disney normally gets a Disney tattoo, and I haven't done it yet. Maybe I'll get a Stitch tattoo finally, because that could be my Disney tattoo.
Commemoration.
Yeah.
And it could be for Stitch also. It's perfect.
It is. It's true, because I have my Kirk tattoo also.
The only thing that bothers me about this
guys,
is he's playing acoustic guitar
Bubbles is
and
in the
it
background.
switches to electric, and it drives me nuts.
Bubbles is. I just
Right
look
here.
at him go. But look at him go. Do-do-do-do.
The switch to electric drives me nuts every time I see it.
I mean,
the technology for that wasn't made yet, so it's just.
I just broke a coffee pot. Those things are hard to replace.
Matt, I stopped getting shirts in bigger sizes because I'm like too small for an extra large. It's the whole thing. Don't worry. But I've lost like a lot of weight over the last 8 months, and it's all changed.
An adventure.
I love that Kale's keeping us updated on his Golden Girls watch. He says, plot twist, Nielsen's a detective in this episode sleeping with Dorothy to solve the case. Is he the character from Naked Gun? Because if he's Frank Drebin, then it's interesting.
Have they had any cheesecake yet?
Yeah, and have they had cheesecake yet?
Cheesecake is to the Golden Girls what pineapple is to Psych.
I love that you just made that reference. I just fell in love with you even more.
Guys, Stitch is Elvis right now.
That's so good.
I know. Look at him. Can we appreciate that this movie is so like such a big love letter to Elvis, and it was made for a family audience where kids, even in the 90s and 2000s, may not necessarily know who Elvis is, and yet they totally go for it.
Don't eat the camera.
Old school Super Soaker.
I love those things.
Just
Same.
Rose the guy.
And there goes the
his ice cream.
Well, and I think, isn't it the first episode of this Lilo and Stitch TV series? He's even like in line to get a milkshake, and even then he doesn't get it.
What I don't understand is what is with that tan line when he's never wearing a shirt?
It's one of the cinema's greatest mysteries.
Oh,
Stitch.
What soda is that?
It's like
Jolt.
Or like Fizzy Pop. Just peas in the same pod.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Go surfing. Let's go. Come on.
Also, I will like it.
Oh, Evan, you're here.
There's a big, you have to suspense your reality, but like the way how the social workers acting, granted, we don't know a lot of what was happening before this, is very not how social workers behave.
We also find out later he's not a social worker.
Oh, it's true.
That's part of the point.
Fuck, I forgot about that.
This song.
Sorry.
This song.
I've been on this movie in a hot minute.
This is maybe my favorite song from any Disney movie. And again, I mean, part of that is this is my favorite animated Disney film.
I'm going to cry. You guys, I'm so sorry.
No, you cry away. We can do that together.
This whole scene is just so like well thought of.
I was supposed to be in Disney World last week, and this is just making me. And I know it's selfish with everything awful that's going on, but I think it's okay to be a little selfish right now. Just have some personal loss for the things we had planned. And
I mean, I was supposed to be in Houston last weekend.
Well, there's nothing in Houston, so.
Well, but it was totally related.
Totally kidding.
I was supposed to have Throwdown match a couple weeks ago.
No, I didn't know Elizabeth said this was her mom's last Disney movie. That's crazy.
Oh
man. Pardis says he never gets the ice cream.
No.
Disney Magic 92 says my dad's an Elvis fan, so there was no way I don't get the reference. I love that so much.
This scene is just pure joy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like after all the hard stuff that happened, it's just such a great release.
Right.
It's also, Max, it's funny that you bring that up with the Disney thing, because like I yesterday I decided to wear one of my summertime shirts.
I love him watching them.
Thomas, and like it hit me today that like there is no such thing as summer this year. And I was like, wow.
I mean, I've been thinking about that too, because I mean, Max and I had talked about I was trying to come out there in June originally to come and see everyone in New York. Like we were going to go see In the Heights together, and it's like the world's just a totally different place right now. I mean, just a crazy thing, man.
It's just so cute.
I know he just so badly wants to
nudges her with his head. Look how timid he is.
Stitch acted like that all the time. My Stitch. He was always like nudging my hand and stuff for things and being super cute. He acted just like this character. Like, it's so ridiculous how much he fit his name.
I love that he's talking to his mom.
Yeah.
Status report.
Yeah, see, everyone's talking about it now in the chat. We're all talking about how that we were all supposed to do things. Be selfish, guys. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be frustrated. I mean, as long as you also have the perspective of don't be the people going outside to the beaches right now. Like, we're all doing what we have to do to survive. So don't be an asshole about it. But
I forgot the voice of Lilo is also Samara in The Ring.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Which is crazy.
Which also came out the same year. Talk about a year.
And directed, The Ring is one of the best. It's actually probably the only really great remake of a Japanese horror film that we had here, and it was because Gore Verbinski.
Yeah.
Yep. Because the sequel's a disaster.
Those deer.
Yeah. God. Oof. Remember Gary Cole in the second one?
Barely.
Never forget.
Oh, Gary Cole's in the second one?
Yeah.
I kind of want to watch the second one now.
He's barely. It's like one or two scenes. He's barely in it.
Oh, surfing. I don't know how to. Oh no!
No.
John too. What a dick. Or Yandu.
No, Jamba.
No, the other one was. Yeah. No, but the other one is Yandu.
Yeah. Okay, that's that's unfair.
No, that is what it looked like. Like,
I know, but it's also like he also didn't mean to because he clearly also can't swim.
He's a dog. He's a dog. That works.
I just like clouds that are also like colorful because of the sunset.
PJ gets that every day with the Arizona sky. He doesn't like to share.
Man,
jump into the movie and go chill on that beach right now.
I totally do. Kale's not wrong. 2002 was huge for movies. Spider-Man, Stuart Little, 2, Born Identity. I shout out Stuart Little 2 being there because Michael J. Fox is everything. So
Stuart Little 2.
I just rewatched that recently. Still holds up.
I don't know if I've seen the sequel.
I haven't.
It's cute.
My favorite thing about the original is that M. Night Shyamalan wrote the script.
Yes, that's the real plot twist. M. Night wrote it.
Yeah.
Leroy and Stitch does count as a film. It's just one of their, direct-to-video sequels. Partis. Good movie. Leroy and Stitch.
All the Stitch straight-to-video sequels are good in their own way.
Yeah,
I haven't watched Leroy. That one, for some reason, whenever I see like the box art or the poster art for it, it seems like it's like computer-generated like Disney Channel type stuff.
Well, because I think it's
that look to the poster, so I never wanted to watch the movie because I always thought it was the same way, but it's not.
I haven't seen it. So correct me if I'm wrong. It's the only one I haven't seen yet. Isn't it the series finale of the show?
Something like that. I don't remember off the top of my head.
So that would explain why it looks like that.
Yeah. Well, no, the TV show didn't have that Disney Channel-y look to it. It had a hand-drawn look to it.
Yeah. Oh, God, he just looks so freaking down right here. And I love that he's learning and how bad he feels, but it also breaks my heart.
One of the things Chris Sanders and Dean DeBlois have excelled at in their careers is giving genuine emotions to mostly silent creatures between Stitch and then Toothless. And even the dog in Call of the Wild, although the CG wasn't as good as it could have been, you could still see the emotion come through the face of the dog.
Yes. Absolutely.
I have a good understanding of that cinematic language.
Dragons. Toothless is my best friend.
Those dragon movies are fantastic.
Dude, the third one makes me sob.
I still got to see it.
Oh my
you
God.
haven't seen it yet?
You can ask Elizabeth one time about how hard I cried in that movie towards the end.
The first two make me cry, incredibly.
The third one,
buckle up, my friend.
Yeah, the third one really gets me because the first two are good. They're all great, but
look at him.
I know he's so sad, and it makes me sad.
I see my dog in Stitch, and I think that's part of what's so great about it is like dogs do bad things sometimes, but then you can see them wanting to come and apologize and like come up on the couch or chair and cuddle with you, and that's very.
This is how Stitch would act all the time, and I love this sequence with these two. Like, it's just such a human moment. Like, everything about this just feels so beautiful and so real. And I think that this is arguably for me one of like the most real animated Disney films. You know, it really hits home in the right way.
Yeah. It's the one that feels like the most authentic. You know, you don't have like wish fulfillment so much as you have, you know, realistic depictions of what you know, two sisters are like, or what somebody feels like they're a loner. You know, they're just an outsider. They don't fit in.
Well, yeah, what a broken friendship or a family feels like.
Yeah, long ago on a blog that doesn't exist anymore, I wrote a piece comparing this to other Disney movies and how this film works as sort of a picture of the, you know, modern American family and how broken it can be and the struggles and how love can ultimately bring you together, and how there's no right or wrong way to do a family. Mother, father, sister, brother, uncle, aunt, best friend, whatever it is, the family's a family, not because of who you are and how you fall in, but because of what you mean to each other.
Yeah.
Well said.
When Lilo says, "I know you cry at night, and I know why you break things and hurt."
Disney magic is totally right. It's heartbreaking to think that Nani is essentially still a child in a way, forced to grow up and become a parent, and that happens way more than we think, and how little we think about stuff like that.
Do we know exactly how old Nani is? 18, 19?
I would guess she's probably closer to 17, 18.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a real thing that happens all the time all over this country.
Absolutely.
See, I always pictured Nani in her early 20s, but who knows?
You know, ultimately it doesn't matter. It's someone who, you know.
But it's also like Lilo has definitely adopted like the mentality.
Everyone talks about the opening of Us, but this scene, my God.
Dude,
I hope you all enjoyed joining in to watch 5 grown men cry watching an animated film.
Nani is 18.
Is it?
She's 12 years older than Lilo because Lilo is 6.
But it's like Lilo totally acts like a kid that young who's had both of their parents pass away or die, just because it is no nonsense in the way that a normal kid would, but also I'm seeking like companionship in anywhere I can, and like Stitch being like that kindred spirit. Yeah. And like her trying to make friends so desperately is so like a real thing. Ew, his plopping feet. Ew. Like, so does he have like 3 pairs of hips or 2?
God, just imagine him dancing to a chorus line.
Oh,
he'd be great on Broadway.
It'd be unfair. So he has 1 eye, 2 tongues, and 3 feet.
What a weird build. It's so perfect, though. It's one of the most alien creatures maybe ever put on film. And that's like a huge compliment because, you know, alien creatures are a dime a dozen at this point. There's so many of them, but it's all about how you handle it and do it. And I think that this movie is got some of the most ingenious alien designs kind of across the board because all the aliens feel different. It's something Lucas did very well with the original Star Wars trilogy.
Who voices her?
You know what's crazy? This movie, there's not really a true villain outside of the one who created Stitch.
I mean, you're not wrong. It's kind of one of those things where it's more they're the villain till they're not situations. You know what I mean? Because you watch movies where someone's supposed to be a villain until you realize by the time it's over that they're not necessarily a villain. Like they do, you know, they're there more as a force to help or whatever. And that she tries. I don't want to get ahead of it. We'll talk about it when we get there. Because I don't know how many people in the chat haven't seen it or whatnot.
Oh, we have a new Golden Girls update.
Yep, I appreciate Kale just keeping this up as he goes. Apparently, Dorothy is trying to get married to Leslie Nielsen, but her ex-husband has kidnapped her.
Oh my god!
So
Golden
serious.
Girls got dark.
Apparently, I don't remember any of that.
I just remember 4 naughty ladies around a kitchen table.
Yeah, I didn't realize there was, Liam Neeson, Leslie Nielsen style taking naked gun shenanigans happening in it. Shout out to Leslie Nielsen being one of the great dramatic actors of all time before Airplane, and then he decided to do Airplane and became a comedic genius.
What was the name of the movie that Airplane took all of the dialogue from?
Airplane? Airport.
Airport?
Yeah. I own all 4 of those. Universal put out a collection a couple of years ago on Blu-ray. Just like Police Squad, the TV show that they did before Naked Gun, the pilot episode of that show basically just takes one of the scripts from Mod Squad and changes a little bit, but almost the dialogue is almost straight out of Mod Squad.
That seems dangerous to wear a fish hook as a necklace. Like, that's going to get caught on your skin very easily.
No, it should be at the Home Alone. Fuck. I forgot. That's disappointing.
He. David, you scamp.
Take your shot, David.
Yeah. Don't throw away your shot, if you will.
Lasers!
If I've learned anything, guys, shoot your shot. Shoot your shot.
All I saw in that whole leaving scene was the Blue Beetle parked under the porch and just thinking blue punch buggy and waiting for it to happen.
David wasn't throwing away his shot.
No, he was not.
I forgot about the scene of him protecting her during all this.
Well, this is like a major turning point for the film because this is where he starts to protect them. The hot potato.
Oh!
Nothing but
Perfect.
I love this song. The fact that he's
Well, and the fact in the show that they live in the house and help them is such like a brilliant move.
Shenanigans.
Far and away, the TV show is one of the best TV or movie to TV adaptations ever because again, the creators were so involved that they continued to, play that storyline. Buffy, did someone say Buffy?
No, when such
I like Fluffy.
Oh, I like Fluffy. I was like,
Buffy is a great example of that.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Buffy counts. Buffy actually took a movie that
was not very good.
I'll give it a passable good, not great, and turned it into an excellent TV show.
My favorite of all time.
Yeah. You and I were talking about this not too long ago, actually, like how much we like Buffy. Was it on Twitter? Something. It came up.
Oh my god, the madness. Cobra Bubble.
This is this whole conversation. No aliens. I've got to go. My dog has
punch buggy.
No punch backs.
He can lift the car.
I know.
There's no need to alert the authorities.
My dog just touched the car. That is one of the all-time great dialogue moments.
It's like he's wearing a fez.
Fezzes are cool.
Mike K. So they did Proud Family, and was Recess another one that they did a crossover with, or did Proud Family crossover with Recess? I don't remember. You have to let me know. Yes, Leslie Nielsen was in an episode of MASH. That was one of his last real, in my opinion, one of his last dramatic roles before he became a full-blown comedian.
Boom.
Wow.
Look, hold up. I just want to know how both Stitch and I forget what his creator's name. They know all these English references. Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas. My mother told me it's.
Suspend your disbelief, Evan.
Apparently,
They're
Kim
very
Possible crossover with Lilo and Stitch also. I did not remember that. That is fantastic.
call me, beat me if you want to Ohana me.
Apparently, American Dragon Jake also, which I've never actually seen an episode of American Dragon Jake. I don't know.
I've never
American
heard of that.
Dragon Jake Long.
Jake Long.
Cool. He's fast. He's the chosen.
Was that a Disney Channel show? I would have to assume. Okay.
And they did a reboot of it with a different art style.
Interesting. So, like, is it like the Ben 10 of the Disney universe?
Yes, very much so.
Oh no!
Don't take away Lilo. Don't do it. God, I just feel so bad for Stitch.
It makes so much sense they went on to do How to Train Your Dragon because of
it does.
Of like all these character designs are similar enough, but like the amount of expression they just get out of him.
I bet Disney's angry they lost him.
I mean, they lost quite a few people when that split happened with DreamWorks and stuff. I mean, because if you guys have never seen Waking Sleeping Beauty, I mean, obviously it's made by Disney, so it's a cleaned up version of a lot of what happened around that time. I mean, it's Disney's version of the story, but there's a lot of it that's very accurate to that time, and it gives you a decent idea of what happened while also being I mean, it's a very sanitized version of the real story.
And it is on Disney Plus, so give it a look because it's really, really good.
It is.
Lilo's been kidnapped, y'all.
By an alien.
Well, and now immediately, like, Nani sees it and it's like, oh shit.
Apparently, everyone's saying how good the show is because Kale said the same thing. How have I not seen the show? I don't know. I guess it was just one of those ones. I might have been a little older at that point when it dropped because, I mean, I watched Lilo and Stitch and things like that, but I was watching Lilo and Stitch as a TV show at that point more because I just cared about the IP. I wasn't necessarily watching Disney Channel religiously.
Hold up. I loved how, like, when he sucked himself out of the crack, his eyes, like, got pulled down, like, disturbingly.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen a few episodes of the show. I haven't seen very much of it. I've only seen probably 5 episodes over the years.
Disney War is a great book, Mike. I have that book. It is
a great book.
It's a great book. That's the
I think it's out of print, but you can find it on used book websites.
Mm-hmm. Also, Kale's still giving us updates. Is this like the Golden Girls movie at this point? I feel like you've been watching it forever, but apparently the wedding is still going in Georgia.
Are we still on Golden Girls?
Yeah, Kale's been watching it.
Guys,
hey, we all know
that Stitch gets hit. It's a squeaky toy sound.
Doggo.
That was a doggo. That was Mabel. Mabel's being very vocal tonight.
How's the bunny doing, Pat?
No. Got kidnapped by aliens. But I got him back as Rohana.
Okay. What's that?
Doge.
You say hello to everybody in the chat. You want to say hi to everybody in the chat? You say hi, Mabel?
Mabel?
Trying to find Dipper. Okay. Well, that's a great point. To Liz's point, she said the Strand typically has copies of Disney War, and they're shipping right now. I got that email yesterday. I'm really happy that they are.
Yeah, support them if you can. They're going through a tough time. And support Forbidden Planet. What a great comic book store in New York. They have a GoFundMe raising money because they're afraid they're not going to be able to make it.
Oh, God, I hope Forbidden Planet doesn't disappear. That's one of my favorite places that you and I visit every time I come to see you guys.
Yeah. This movie is so emotional.
It really is.
Quiet, dogs.
Ruining all dramatic tension. My God.
It's a 2-part episode, The Golden Girls.
That says...
that explains it.
Yep. Means nobody gets left behind.
Or forgotten.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
he must be very convinced. A rescue.
And it's like, little face.
Oh, look at John Kaiser just got into the chat. Look at this crew. I went in on the next Cards Against Humanity, or I will cut you.
I
Kaiser,
said the same thing, Kaiser.
I will get. How about this?
Wait, I have an idea for Kaiser.
To Kaiser and James White, though, we'll get you on the next Cards Against Humanity. But Kaiser, I'm going to have Evan reach out to you because we might have something for you this weekend that you might want in on.
Yeah, I got something for you, you dicky do.
But I will have you on whenever you want to be on.
I like to play games.
Yeah, Max, you know you're going to be. We also have you on like twice a week at this point, but we'll get you on the game night too.
It's true. You're probably all
Also, I'm glad how everyone in the
I
comments
want to
is
have
on
you
YouTube.
on all the time.
And the one person on Facebook is Kaiser.
He's still watching. He said holler, so just
Yeah,
he's in.
I'm reaching out right now.
Apparently, Dorothy got married to Leslie Nielsen. Very important, you guys.
It's like our
Where'd you
13th
quit it
wedding.
with the Golden Girls? You have to
No.
save Lilo.
We have a spaceship chase.
Yeah, this is the part that was all airplane before.
Yes, and this was all changed because of 9/11. Oh, I didn't realize Disney Plus had the Sweatbox on there. I hadn't seen that. That was when he was making Kingdom of the Sun, which became The Emperor's New Groove. I will
She
have
said
to watch
we'll never make it to Disney Plus.
Oh, never make it to Disney Plus. Sorry, I read it wrong. Yes, that is a great documentary, though. I love it very, very much. This was a great use of 3D animation with hand-drawn in the right way.
I mean, the great hand-drawn
Pictures.
movies did that.
Yeah.
In the early and mid '90s, they were drawing everything by hand, but they were using 3D animation when it was possible. At the best, like The Lion King is the best
Or
example.
the Prince
The
of
way that-
Egypt does it really well too.
Oh,
Yeah.
Prince of Egypt, yes. That documentary that was being talked about is on YouTube, so you should go watch it. Man, I just...
Oh no, the
Oh,
ice cream!
God.
He looks so happy. Oh,
God, that poor bastard.
God.
I just feel for him, man.
Where did he get the ice cream, though? There was no ice cream vendor in sight, so
He
either
brought
had
it
to
all
walk,
the way from home
He had to walk
to
way
get into
far
his
away,
perfect spot.
get all the way over to the chair, and then decides to eat it.
Do you feel bad too, Mabel? You feel
So
bad.
I don't feel bad anymore. He walked like 200 yards at least to get to that chair.
Hello, Dipper.
He had all that time to eat that ice cream.
Drama.
No. Dude, how she calls out for him just breaks my heart.
Wow.
I hear Courtney's fighting.
Yeah, they're just feisty tonight, man.
And Frog.
$5 on Dipper.
My money's on Mabel.
Fine.
What Matt Whitehurst says, I went through the 90s Spider-Man show, and man, the mix of 3D and 2D is not great. That was like ahead of its time, though. I remember being blown away by it as when I was younger.
Avatar: The Last Airbender does a nice
rough,
job
Andrew.
mixing hand-drawn and 3D.
Mm-hmm.
I like
I
the
also
frog
don't
teaming
think
up with him.
Spider-Man show.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, the frog.
Evan, you have to understand where it came out in its time and place. You don't have to,
Yeah.
but
Don't
that,
leave me,
That would
okay?
already kill me. Okay.
okay. That Spider-Man, the 90s series was like a huge thing around for me as a kid, as a comic book fan.
A113.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice when they pop up in Disney movies and not just Pixar.
I mean, because at that point, Pixar and Disney Animation were very close.
Yeah, it just doesn't happen very often.
Right.
Guys, he's driving a fuel truck into a volcano.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
Yeah.
awesome.
with the hula girl on the dashboard.
Yes.
Mad Max could never.
Mad Max wishes he was as cool as Stitch. Can we all
I
agree?
That's bait.
I'm pretty sure Stitch says more words in this movie than Max does in Mad Max Fury Road.
I think you're right.
I think you're right.
Boom.
The look of satisfaction on his face when he does that, and the yeehaw just
Also cute.
It's just so
God.
good.
What a
Give me
line.
Iron Giant vibes. We're like,
Did you watch that Brooklyn Nine-Nine, PJ, from a couple weeks ago
No, I'm behind.
I have.
gotta catch up.
with the fluffy boy?
yeah.
I know what happens because that's the one where Cheddar gets kidnapped, right?
You gotta watch. You're gonna love
Yeah.
it, PJ.
I can't wait. Poor Cheddar. Who kidnaps Cheddar?
I'm
Don't
trying to
he
spoil the
got-
episode.
Yeah.
Guys, he
Don't
got
spoil
Lilo back.
It's because he's a good dog.
He's a great dog. If I got locked in Alien, Ozzy would be like, meh, where's the food?
Yeah, Max, I couldn't believe the season was only 13 episodes. I was actually like so sad when I learned, oh, that's the season finale. Crap.
Yeah.
Well, because
But at
originally-
least they got to have actually film their finale like so many other shows that didn't this year.
Well, because they also got when they were originally picked up by NBC, they were picked up with less
Third-
episodes, and then they got an extension.
And then this year they just did a clean 13, which works for
Right.
them. They'll keep going and they can keep the costs effective.
Yeah, and 8 just got announced, so
I'm glad that it's going to keep going. I think it's going to go at least one more season. I think it's going to end with season 9.
I could see that, especially if they keep doing shorter seasons.
Mm-hmm. Gantu's kind of.
They put all these men to do the job, but it was really a woman who needed to come in and create the.
I'm not going to
Wolf
say anything,
Trump.
but I think a woman would have handled the situation we're currently in better than a. But what do I know?
Sounds good to me.
I think they should have replaced her with a pizza box. Thank you, Evan. Oh, he's so cute.
awful.
Let's just say goodbye.
Bitch, don't break my heart like this.
Yes.
Leave my flip flops alone.
This is my family.
Family.
I hate that you can do it so good.
It's small. Oh. It's
It's
little,
broken.
but good.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, good.
God damn it.
Still
He has more lines than I thought. Look at him waddle with his little handcuffs. Yeah, he's getting like a bubble butt. I do like that it is, the hearts of the Galactic Senate were warmed by this cute little blue guy. Like, no bigger negotiation. Just like, damn it, this is really cute. We can't take him.
She just happens to still have that birth certificate on her.
It's only been like a day and a half.
Stitch is a slave.
Let's not get into that.
That was a bad joke.
Wait.
though.
Okay. I'm sorry, but we need to talk about the truths of this movie and its agenda.
You had hair then.
He's so cute. She can hold him with just a hand. That's adorable.
I want one. I'll take 3.
Oh. It's such a layup of you guys want to see adventures with all these, right? Oh, just you wait.
But one of the best end credit scenes ever, too. I love the montage.
Yeah.
Ho, 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 ho.
What a great moment.
Her
Looks
ship
like
looks
the,
like a mango.
It does look like a mango, but it also kind of looks like the ship from E.T.
Mmm.
That music's a little ET right there too. Actually,
Yeah.
I actually never noticed that.
I've always kind of thought it was an homage.
It feels like it, especially with that music cue right there. Because Silvestri's really the next in line of great composers behind John Williams, so him having that homage makes sense.
And the Spielberg connection, too.
Mhm.
Working, with Zemeckis and all them.
Right.
He's got a little.
The Switch.
Well, and Silvestri finally got to do a Spielberg movie with Ready Player One.
Oh, right.
True.
Yeah.
Right.
And he knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, he did.
He got to use his Back to the Future themes too in that,
which was perfectly used.
Oh.
And Spielberg didn't want him on Back to the Future.
Kale just realized, I think I'm watching the series finale of Golden Girls. Everyone is crying and saying goodbye to Dorothy and Nielsen. Kale, thank you. I needed that. It was really funny.
What were you guys known for in the year 2020? Well, we recapped the Golden Girls during a Lilo and Stitch commentary. That seems like
Super
important,
right here,
right?
It's the best Stitch.
I love this montage so much, and then the TV show is like, well, let's go back in between the moments of the montage.
Right. But they do it in the right way.
Yeah.
You know,
I love it.
It's very Dark Knight.
Nani's face.
He is the hero we deserve.
Yes, he is.
And
this whole soundtrack means so much more to me now. I did a production of All Shook Up in college, so I really got into Elvis songs then. So now I'm like, oh yeah, Burning Love.
Oh, they went on a cruise. They went to Snow.
They went to Graceland.
I thought that was Disneyland.
Wait, so did David collect the bag?
Huh?
Never mind.
What bag?
Did David? Did he ever end up shooting a shot? We're assuming so. Yes, right?
Yeah, we're assuming they got together.
They're dating in the second movie.
Okay.
Man, what a great movie! And this ending, I don't know if any of you guys have seen the Lethal Weapon movies, but the ending.
Oh boy.
This reminds me of the end of Lethal Weapon 4 because Lethal Weapon 4 ends with a similar montage showing the characters, and then it actually breaks the fourth wall and starts showing people working on the movies.
It always comes back to Lethal Weapon with you, PJ.
I was about to say,
really
I forgot about that. I was like, where are you going with this, PJ?
I knew exactly where I was going with this.
Oh, I know you knew. I just didn't until I remembered.
And now, raise a glass to the beloved Stitch. May you rest in peace and enjoy your time over the Rainbow Bridge.
Thank you guys for being here with me for this because it means the world. And I'm of course making sure because of Bellhop Stitch, I'm drinking out of my Tower of Terror.
Perfect.
That I got when
I had my Lilo and Stitch shirt on, and so did James.
I saw that. I don't have any that fit at this point, so I didn't have it on, unfortunately. So, I love this movie a lot, obviously. For me, I like this song, by the way. I like this cover of it. Sue me. I'm going to start with Evan. Evan, does this hold up for you?
It holds up for sure. I am surprised by how much I forgot about it. You guys talk about it in some of the best Disney movies. I don't think I'd go that far, but it's really engaging. It is really emotional. I caught myself going whoa, shit. That's sad as hell. And the animation is stunning. They do a really good job of making sure that Stitch's blue contrasts the rest of the movie outside of the water, and even then it contrasts the rest of the characters to make sure they're oh, he is different. That's the thing about Stitch is he is different. You just have to be able to work around those differences. I think it's really smart with his characters, and it's just a lot of fun too. Great film.
It is. I love it to pieces, and I think that watching it now, I think it just still holds up because to what we were talking about earlier, I still consider it maybe the best and most real Disney movie in a lot of ways for me personally. I don't expect everyone to agree, feel the same way, but it means the world to me, and I think it's the most real Disney movie in a lot of ways. I'm going to go down to Max real quick, or over to Max, I should say. Max, you fell in love with this movie. Does it hold up now as well for you almost 20 years later?
Yeah, in fact, I think I like it more than I did when I saw it. My dad and I did a Lilo and Stitch Minority Report double feature.
That's
double feature. That was a weird day, and at the time I preferred Minority Report, and this is a movie that has really lasted long in the annals of the movies that I love. I don't know if I would say it's the #1 best Disney animated movie of all time, but I think it's up there. I think it's a perfect example of what they were changing into between the classic musicals of the late 80s, early 90s, where they are now. I think its messages of family are so beautiful. It's so fucking chaotic in the most delightful way. Yeah. The songs are great. The animation is stunning. It's whimsical. Yeah, I really love it. And every time I watch it, I like it just a little bit more. And it's one I can go back to. There are some other Disney ones where I don't go back to that much. Not that I don't love them. This is one I can watch over and over again.
It's also definitely a really sneaky one because it's not in one of the big eras as people refer to them to.
It's like sort of in the middle pocket there.
Yeah, it's a really weird middle pocket, so you don't hear it in the conversations, but whenever someone name drops, you're like, oh shit, you're right.
Interestingly, I think Stitch as a character and like as we were saying earlier, a meme is more well known and beloved than the movie itself. I think a lot of people would be surprised to go back to the movie and see how much heart it has.
I definitely agree with that 100%. And it's interesting you bring up kind of the chaos of the movie because it is totally chaotic, especially for a Disney film. Like, Disney films are not this chaotic a lot of the time. They let all the other studios do that 95% of the time, I would say. Yeah. So it's so interesting that this one did. But I also credit that to Dean and Chris because I think that they really did something different. And I think that's why it still stands out. And I think that's why their movies at DreamWorks both stand out so heavily. You know, Hogue, we just watched this. Looking at it now, what are your thoughts?
It's, I don't know, emblematic of my favorite animated films that it has, you know, the very surface level, colorful, fun characters, all like the whiz bang pop that as a kid I got entertained by, all the jokes of like him dressing up as Elvis, ha ha ha, dumb one cell brain laughs at this. And now looking at it as an adult, that is still entertaining, but it really does kind of stand out how much nuance this movie has, how much it is pulling from so many different like artistic references that I find so dear, and like dealing with subject material in these kind of Disney films that you don't get to see, such as like sibling relationships. I mean, loss of parents is big in all of them, but like the dynamic of like how it handles abandonment and how goofy it can still be, and like the way it's bad, it really does remind me of something like How to Train Your Dragon, and these guys just able to just hold you in the palm of your hand with like emotion and then laughs. It's one of Disney's like most unique and beautiful classics.
I think that Mike makes a really fantastic point that it's written more like a pulp sci-fi film than a traditional Disney animated film. And I think that goes a long way in the storytelling of the film. James White, do you agree with that assessment? Now, what are your feelings towards it now? Because I know how much you love this movie like I do. Yeah,
I can see the sci-fi pulpiness of it, but the family story is really what comes through for me more than the sci-fi pulpiness. Like what Hogue was saying, it's one of those movies that it just deals with certain issues that you don't normally see in a Disney movie. You definitely see the parents, you know, that have expired, but you don't see the siblings taking care of each other as much as you do in this. And they expand on that a little bit with Frozen, you know, seeing that sibling sister relationship. But this was really the one that kind of broke that ground and finding people that were in the same place, but they were on totally different ends of a situation. Yeah, and totally. It's something that, you know, I loved this movie when it came out. I don't think it's one of the best Disney movies. Like, you know, if we're looking at subjectivity and different things, you know, artistically and kind of where they were, it's not groundbreaking, but I think it's definitely one of my favorite movies because everything around it works. You know, you have fantastic characters with great music accompaniment, and it has a really strong story that just talks about family and togetherness, and that everybody can be better. You know, you can change and you can find those people that mean the most to you. And you don't get that in a lot of movies, you know, particularly, you know, movies today. You know, you see a lot of dour situations. So it's just one of those movies that I can always pop on and just feel happy by the end of it, you know.
Stardrew says that they don't think there's a dark moment in any of this. I don't agree with that. I think there's quite a few darker moments. I mean, not in this traditional Disney sense, maybe where the parent dies on camera or whatever, but I mean, there's plenty of dark moments in the film. Again, I mean, Stitch getting run over by 2 trucks in and of itself is a dark moment. Lilo potentially being taken away from Donnie is a dark moment. There's a lot of darker moments.
That guy never getting his ice cream is very dark in my heart.
Tragic.
I agree.
The whole scene of Lilo saying, "I know what it's like to be abandoned. I remember everyone who has left me. And if you can be a part of my family, you can." And then Stitch wanders out into the night, contemplating his existence and is he only meant for terror? Like, these are ideas that the movie is not subtle about. Those are really dark things to have to like contend with, and it does it very upfrontly. Of, you know, it might be a kind of a simple solution of like finding family and finding joy, but the film goes to those lengths so that like they're rewarded with like that happiness at the end. You see their despair, them about to lose the home, the family, so that when they're like, yeah, we can all live together and be like, have a fun like alien montage. It's just it's perfect. Like,
I also
quick,
want to shout out Michael K.
Oh, that's what I was about to say. I was going to do the same thing. Yeah, Mike K just donated $12 for Stitch.
Hey.
Mike K,
Thanks, Mike.
we love you. Thank you,
Appreciate you, buddy.
so much. You are always here, by the way. Like, Mike K, thank you. You've continually been here since the beginning, and we really appreciate your support. And I appreciate everyone who was here. Amber Gabrielle, who's in the chat. This is the first time I've seen her in the chat. She subscribed to the channel. She said she's coming back. She enjoyed so much.
Oh, yeah.
She wants to come back. Like, that's the kind of love I want to see. Matt Whitehurst has been in the chat a ton. Star Drew's been in the chat all the time. Disney Magic 92 subscribed tonight. Like,
Let's go Disney Magic.
You guys crushed it tonight, and it means the world to me. Between Friday and now, between the Young Guns watch along and this, like, you guys have made my heart so full. Between the game night and this, you've made my heart so full. I have had the roughest weekend because with the quarantine going on, dealing with everything has been really hard because you sit in your head and you don't know what to do. And I've been surrounded by people who love me. You guys here. I mean, my panel right here, my best friends in the entire world. But even more than that, like, the people watching have been here. And I fucking love all of you so much. And I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, like, thank you for everything, because it's been incredibly difficult and I've had a very hard time with it. And I don't think I could have gotten through it without all of you.
Love you too, buddy. Like, we're here for you, and like, to do this is more than an honor for Stitch. It's, you know, a celebration of him, of our friendship with you, about doing what we love and bringing more people into this kind of circle of positivity. It's, you know, this is why we do this, is to come together for these moments. So, love you, bud.
You know,
You are my Ohana, PJ.
God, I fucking love you guys. I'm gonna start crying. Fucking Evan, please start talking about what's happening.
yeah, we'll do that. So a couple of things. I'm not going to go through literally everything, but the just direct content happening tomorrow. Famous Last Words with Abby Friel. It's my interview-based show. I'm really excited for it. Every week just seems to keep getting more interesting, so we'll see where tomorrow brings. And then the next watch along is Brick. We PJ and I do a really good job at not figuring out what we're watching next week. So all I know is Friday we're watching Brick, and May 15th
we decided we were doing Simpsons next week. Remember?
Simpsons. That's right. So we're watching Simpsons next Monday. So make sure you guys are there for that. I remember watching the Simpsons movie once, but that's kind of it, and I don't remember much about it. So the rewatch will be interesting to say the least. And then last but not least,
that's not true.
all
There's
this
two other
content
things
that we
you have
just
to do.
dropped as the videos, the photos still loading in. Come on, Streamlabs. Come on, StreamYard. Thank you. Famous Last Words, Something Rotten, the Rocky Horror Picture Show, Suddenly Soundtracks, Family Game Night with Tom Dagnino and Tim Franco, the PJ Campbell Show, and the Young Guns 2 Watch Along is all on our channel right now, just sitting pretty. So make sure you guys check that out. And I think with that, let's start wrapping. Thank you, Chris Clark.
Chris Clark on the mic right there, bringing us the graphic for the Simpsons movie. Thank you, Chris. So that'll be next Monday. We're going to do the Simpsons movie. We're going to go back to our television, jumping to the big screen, which will be a lot of fun. But what's going on Saturday, Evan?
Oh, Saturday. That's right. We're doing Jackbox Trivia. Not Jackbox, Party Pack. We did it for our first time, and the audience engagement was rapid. It was fire. So I talked to PJ. I talked to Chris. I want to do this monthly, once a month. Make sure that like it's a way for just enough people to want it. To be honest, that's really what I'm thinking here. And I'm really excited because the last time it happened, I got roasted a shit ton. So it's now time for me to strike back.
And one last thing, what is on Sunday? Because you might as well announce it while we're here.
Oh, Sunday. We are going over. Chris, where's that thumbnail?
No, it's right here. I got you. There you go.
It is the top 10 Disney park attractions with myself, Maxwell Haddad, PJ Campbell, Abby Friel is on this, I believe. And am I missing anyone?
At the moment, I don't think so. And I look at James White's face, and I feel like James is asking to be on.
I'm saying you're leaving me off of this list.
All right, so James is going to be on Sunday too.
Not to take too much credit, but it was my idea.
It was Maxwell's idea. I pitched it as Maxwell's idea.
But I'm really excited about it because Disney World is where I grew up. Like that's why I fell in love with theme parks. That's why I started to work at a theme park, not a Disney one, just because it was too far away. But that's the Disney World is the reason why I love theme parks today. So,
real quick to Stardrew, I saw Stardrew asking about it yesterday too, and I forgot to touch on it. We are doing the Mummy. It's going to be next week. I need to take a little bit of time for myself. I'm doing the live shows right now, but I need to take a couple of days for me because I've been doing live streams every night since this situation with Stitch started. So I'm going to take the next 3 days off when we would have normally recorded it. I hope you understand. It'll be up next Wednesday. I promise. I got to take a little bit of time for myself to decompress from the situation because I want to put out great content for you guys. And I also need a couple of days to be me. So please understand. I promise we're getting to it. We have a guest lined up. As you guys know, Stacey Howard is going to be on with Frank and I, and we're going to talk Mummy and Mummy Returns. But it's going to be next week. I need a couple of days for myself.
Of course.
That's a bomb and a half dropping Stacey Howard's name like that. I didn't even know that. So that's
No. And don't be sorry, Stardrew. I'm just coming out to you and letting you know that's why, because I saw your comment last night. I didn't say anything last night. I forgot to. That is on me. But I just want to say it's all good. Don't be sorry. We're still doing it. It's just going to be next week because I just need some time. And I just want to say, Disney Magic, this was your first watch long. I'm really glad that you had a good time hanging out. Kelly, thank you so much. That means the world. You guys are the best. So anything else, Evan, before we send everyone home?
No, other than that, it was a jolly good old time. And I think it's about time to get Hogue out of here. I keep looking at his face. I'm just like, leave, please. So,
Evan,
right, so Hogue, where can everyone find you?
Where can people find you?
Crying after this. I was emotionally abusive. You can find me in all the fun places. Pat the Canadian for my Instagram. Go to my Vimeo for all my short films. Type in Patrick Hogue, Hogue, not UEG. I just made it more confusing for you, but just type in my name and check out my newest short film, So, on Crypt TV.
It's really damn good, y'all.
It's really damn good, and the link is. I'll put the link in the description.
Oh, thanks, guys. We're getting close to 200,000 views, so we're looking to hit that milestone. And I'm really excited to start Ryan Johnson month. That's going to be a heck of a watch along.
Yeah, I'm excited for the Last Jedi watch along, especially. That's going to be not divided at all.
Not controversial. Nothing upsetting.
Great.
All right. Thank you, Hogue. We'll see you on the next one.
Love you guys.
Love you. All right. With that, James, thank you so much for being here. It was your first time on the PJ Campbell Network. I hope you had a good time, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks so much for having me.
Well, we'll see you Sunday, as it turns out. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Where can the kids find you online?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd at G4TOR24Gator24. You'll just hear all of my musings from there.
Awesome. We will see you on Sunday. I look forward to talking Disney parks with you. Stay safe,
Absolutely.
my friend.
You too, buddy.
And Maxwell, my best friend in the whole world. Where can the kids find you online?
Follow me on Twitter at Cinemaxwell, Instagram at Cinemaxwell Inc. You can see me here on Friday night for the Brick Watch Along and on Sunday for the top 10 Disney Parks rides. It's going to be a wild time.
It's going to be absolutely wild because I know you're bringing some stuff to the table that I cannot, and I cannot wait for that. And, of course, we're going to get you on one of these game nights very, very soon, my friend.
Absolutely.
But we will see you on the other side. We love you. Stay safe in New York. Evan, my friend, my right hand, the idiot of the channel that I love so much.
I'm the brains. I don't know if I'm the idiot of the channel, then you really must have some squares rolling on the ground. It just go bump, 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 bump.
Yeah, the only reason you got that is because Chris does our graphics. If you did the graphics, it might be different.
Excuse me for being incompetent in what is a very difficult application. Anyways, you guys can find me at Evan Degraff Live right there. Oh, I have a little thing. There we go, right there. On Twitter, I like to tweet things. Dustin Pedroia is the best second baseman of this decade. sorry, not decade, century. And that's kind of about it. I appreciate you having me on, but I'm on all the time, so it's kind of a normality at this point. And then also check out my interview tomorrow with Abby.
7 p.m. PST, 10 p.m. EST. Make sure you guys check out Famous Last Words. You're going to enjoy it a ton. I know. I am looking forward to it. Have a good night, my friends. Stay safe in Florida because you guys are crazy there. And, of course, you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at PJ_Campbell. Find me here every night, as you know, pretty much 7 p.m. PST, 10 p.m. EST. We're trying to do content for you guys every night during the quarantine. I saw a couple of you in the chat even say that some of these watch-alongs have gone a long way and they've gotten you through it. And I hope you guys check out some of the other content because we're doing amazing things. That Something Rotten episode that Frank and I did, I'm really, really proud of it. I would love if you guys go check it out. Tommy Boy is one of my all-time favorite films. It's my favorite comedy of all time, and I want to, if you guys get a chance, go check it out, please. You can see it on the channel. And with that, I will see you guys here Friday night. We're talking all things Brick, Ryan Johnson. It's going to be a blast. So until then, I will see you next time. Have a great day, everyone.
I want to be so long. Farewell to you, my friend. Goodbye for now. Until we meet again. I said so long. Farewell to you, my friend. Goodbye for now. Until we meet again. Oh, it's been great to play and sing together in the box, and now it's time to say goodbye. Oh, so long. Farewell to you, my friend. Goodbye. Oh, for now. Until we meet again. Goodbye for now. Until we meet again.